Welcome to another edition of Smith Debnam's Creditors Corner, where we talk about all things related to banking and consumer financial services. Please note that nothing in this podcast is intended as legal advice. Should you need legal advice about a specific issue, we encourage you to consult an attorney of your choosing. I'm Caren Enloe, and today our guest is Jeff Rogers, who leads our firm's real estate litigation and foreclosure practices. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, Caren.
Jeff, I wanted to talk to you today about this article you wrote for our website that talked about some of the challenges that are presented to creditors regarding mobile homes and the relationship to real property. So let me just ask you kind of a basic question to start off, and that is, the name mobile home suggests that the home's mobile, it's got wheels. Does it or should it be registered like a motor vehicle?
Well, mobile homes are motor vehicles. They are registered with DMV. They have a title, just like a car does. And so when a mobile home is actually purchased, typically a title is drawn up and recorded with DMV to show who the owner of that mobile home is, and if there are any lien holders on that mobile home. And that title is in essence the same title that you would get if you went and purchased a car.
So Jeff, that kind of begs the question, is a mobile home personal property or is it real property?
Well, that's a good question, and that depends. A mobile home is personal property until it is declared real property. So a title to a mobile home is the same, like I said a minute ago, a title to a vehicle. It's personal property. If you sell that mobile home, the way you sell it is that you sign the title to that mobile home to the purchaser, who then takes that title to DMV and gets a new title. So a mobile home, when it is built and driven to wherever it is being driven to, it is personal property, and it is a titled piece of property.
So how can a mobile home become real property? Because when I see them, they're kind of sitting on a piece of property, no wheels, no nothing on them. They're like a house.
Well, the first thing that would typically have to happen is that the owner of the mobile home and the owner of the real property where it sits would have to be the same person. But typically, if you want to take your mobile home and put it on your land, and you want the mobile home to be treated as a part of the land, there are steps that you have to take with DMV to have that mobile home declared a part of the real property. If it is a titled mobile home, like we just spoke about, then the owner of the property and the owner of the mobile home, presumably they're the same person, can file what's called an affidavit of removal of manufactured home from vehicle registration files. That's a long form name, but it's a DMV form that basically says, I am the owner of the land upon which this mobile home sits, and I am the owner of the mobile home, and I want DMV to cancel the title to the mobile home, and I want that mobile home declared a part of the real estate. That is the typical way that a mobile home, a titled mobile home, is declared real property. It has to be done by the consent of the owner of both the mobile home and the real estate. There would be no reason, of course, to declare your mobile home part of somebody else's real estate. So of course this is going to happen when the owner of the mobile home and the owner of the real estate are the same. Now, Caren, I will tell you that not all mobile homes are titled, and I know that is contrary to what I just said, but an untitled mobile home typically is a mobile home where no certificate of title has ever been applied for. This is the way it works. When a mobile home is built, manufactured at the facility, it is issued what's called a certificate of origin. That's like the birth certificate of a mobile home, where it was built, description of the mobile home, etc. That's not a title. The owner of the mobile home, once they take possession of the home, they apply to DMV to get a title. If there is a new mobile home that was manufactured and somebody orders it from the factory and they want it put on their property, they may never title that mobile home. They may just simply have that certificate of origin. That's called an untitled mobile home. And the way in which you would have that mobile home declared part of the real estate, because again, a mobile home is considered personal property until you have it declared real property. So with a titled mobile home, the owner would file a form with DMV that says, I want my home declared part of the real estate and the title canceled. With an untitled mobile home, and typically these are going to be new mobile homes that somebody buys and is set up on their property in which they have never applied to DMV for a title, you would file a separate form with the Register of Deeds in the county called a Declaration of Intent to Affix. Basically what you're saying is that this is a mobile home. It's never been titled. There is no title with DMV. I own the mobile home. I own the land. And I want this mobile home declared part of the real estate. So it really depends on whether or not it is a mobile home that is titled. And titled mobile homes are always going to be mobile homes that have been previously owned by somebody else, previously used mobile homes. And untitled mobile homes are usually going to be brand new homes that somebody just purchased and put on their property.
So how do you foreclose on a mobile home? Do you foreclose on it like you would a car, like by bringing a replevin or claim and delivery action? Or how do you foreclose, or is it more like a regular foreclosure on a house?
Well, that again depends. If the mobile home is still personal property with a title, then a lender would typically repossess that home like you would a car. So let me give you an example. Let's say somebody puts their mobile home and leases a lot. Mobile home is titled. The owner of the mobile home does not own the lot, so it's not part of the real estate. In a situation like that, the mobile home is considered personal property, just like a car, and it's repoed, just like a car is. The complicated matter, the confusing matter, is when a mobile home is owned by Mr. Smith and it sits on Mr. Smith's land, and then Mr. Smith goes out and gives a deed of trust to a bank. And then Mr. Smith defaults on his deed of trust and the bank wants to foreclose. That's where the hard part is. That's what complicates mobile homes and real property, and where they kind of intertwine with one another. If you have a titled mobile home and that title has been canceled, as we discussed earlier, then it's considered part of the real estate. Foreclosure of the real estate would foreclose on the mobile home. It's treated just as if it's a stick-built home on the property. If you have an untitled mobile home, like we just spoke about, and you have that mobile home declared real estate through filing the Declaration of Intent, then again, it's considered real property. And if you foreclose on that property, the real estate, you also foreclose on the mobile home. The real issue comes in when neither of those has taken place. The lender has a lien on the real estate. Do they also have a lien on the mobile home? Well, if it's a titled mobile home and the lender does not have a lien on the title, the lender has no interest in that mobile home. I mean, I can't make that any clearer. If there is no, if the lender does not have a lien on a titled mobile home that has not been declared real estate, then the lender has no interest in that mobile home. Let's say that the lender has a lien on the title to the mobile home that has not been canceled to real estate, and also has a lien on the real estate. And the lender wants to foreclose. Can he foreclose on the mobile home as a part of the real estate? And the answer to that question is yes, the lender can. North Carolina law says that when the owner of a tract of land is the same as the owner of the mobile home located on that land, and the lien holder on the land and the lien holder on the mobile home are the same, the law presumes that the owner placed the mobile home on the land intending for it to become part of the land and additional collateral for the loan. So that's a long way, Caren, of saying that if you are just talking about a mobile home, land's not involved, you repossess it like a car. If the mobile home sits on the land and the lender wants to foreclose on that mobile home and wants to foreclose on the land, certain things have to line up first.
So in other words, it depends.
In other words, it depends. Yeah, it depends. That's about the best way I can describe it. It is, and you would be surprised how many times lenders will make a lien on a piece of land knowing there's a mobile home on it. They never put their lien on the title. They never check to see whether the title has been canceled to real estate. Or I can't tell you how many times that somebody will close a loan on a piece of property, real estate, with a mobile home on it, and the closing attorney never bothers to check on the title to the mobile home. They are two, and until you can show that the mobile home is a part of that real estate through some action to have it so declared, you have to treat that mobile home as personal property. You have to check the title on it, who owns it, who has a lien on it, and it can be very complicated.
So what should lenders be aware of to prevent issues from arising? What would be your top three cautions to lenders?
First one I think would be to check to see if in fact there is a mobile home on the property that you're about to make a loan on. A lot of lenders might not know that there is one, or a lot of lenders might look at it and it looks like a mobile home, but it's got some real pretty underpinning. It's brick foundation and all that stuff, and they assume that it is part of the real estate. Don't make that assumption. If you find so the second thing would be if you find that there's a mobile home on it, you have to check the status of the title with DMV. And that's a pretty easy process. You just send in a request to DMV and they will send you back a lien report that will show who the owner is, who the lien holders are, and whether or not that mobile home has been canceled to real estate. And I guess,
let me ask you a question. Do you do that by VIN number, or do you do it by property address?
You don't do it by property address. Preferably, you want the VIN number. If you don't have the VIN number, then you would want to have DMV search it under the owner's name, at minimum, the owner of the real estate. Because I can't tell you, Caren, how many times I have tried to foreclose on a mobile home for a lender, and I have gone and searched the DMV records, and there is a title outstanding, and that title has not been canceled. So now I know I have an issue about whether or not I can include that mobile home as part of the real estate. And then I look at who owns the mobile home, and it is somebody completely different than who owns the real estate. And the reason for that is because that real estate probably has been sold 2 or 3 times, and nobody ever bothered during any of those real estate closings to check to see what the status of the title to the mobile home was. So I guess third, I would say, is don't assume that the person who's coming in and taking out the loan with you is actually the owner of the mobile home. It could be somebody back in the chain of title.
Jeff, I think that's really helpful. For our listeners, if you've enjoyed hearing about this and want to learn more, Jeff has an article published on our website entitled Mobile Homes and Real Property, A Strained Relationship. If you've enjoyed this podcast and want to hear more from Smith Debnam, we'd ask that you subscribe. Thanks for joining us today, and have a great one.